There we go. Cool. All right. So today we are going to play, well, I've been talking about, I have been talking a lot lately about our horizontal center step die. So this one is kind of a sister to one that we've had. I was looking for a sample. I just don't have one in front of me. We've had a vertical version. This is kind of a horizontal version. It's still an A2 size. The back of the die gives you really good details. Again, this is kind of more of a square format. It still sits horizontal and stands up that way. I can show you. This is what we're going to be making. I don't have all the pieces stuck on there. So our other one was more of a vertical version. So this is kind of fun because I love the square format of this. So again, so I wanted to use this set, but the other thing that's brand new is our beautiful inside stamp set. And this is the fourth one in our Stamp of the Month Club. So they've already received this stamp set. So now it's available to you guys. And if you guys love this and love some of our other Stamp of the Month Club stamps, check us out on the website. At the top bar, there's Stamp and Die Club. You can either do just the stamp or stamp and die. So this is really pretty. What's nice about it, it actually coordinates really well with our Countryside Florals collection. So I thought it'd be fun to use the Countryside paper and our new die and stuff to make some fun cards today.
It's kind of a mouthful. Countryside Floral
Countryside Floral, I know.
Collection.
It's kind of a long one. It was kind of hard to come up with something new that was floral, but I think that worked. All right. So the other thing that's new, we've just had a lot of new stuff lately. It's our Nature Layer dies. So a really cool square format. It actually fits right in this die. You can use this by itself. If you get it by itself, it still comes with the extra layers, like the little scallop piece. Otherwise, this one has the scallop. It just doesn't have the little detailed pieces. So this is kind of what those look like. So anyway, I thought it'd be fun to play with this today.
So everybody's says the sound is doing much better.
Oh, good. Sounds good. All right. I got my tech expert with me today, so that helped. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the camera around. We're going to do a couple different things. We're going to die cut. I'm going to show you how to fold this card, and then we're going to get a little messy with some distress inks. So let's turn the camera around. Okay. All right, so let's start with the very beginning. Oh, I feel like start at the very beginning.
It's a very good
place to start.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the main part of your die. So the key is this is just half of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, just like when we do our other die. But this one is your vertical piece here. Okay, anyway. The instructions, just so you can see, this shows you exactly how to position it. See how it indents here? This goes down like this. If you do it this way, that's not right. So follow the picture. You're going to just literally put it all the way at the bottom and it goes right to the sides. Now when I cut this piece of paper, I was just like barely a hair wide when I cut this, but it's okay because I'm just going to center it. So you just see a little hair white paper there and a little bit on that side. That's fine. As long as it's centered, you're good to go. So just tape it down so you know it's in good position. Again, you're right at the very bottom. That's key. So you're going to run it through your machine. Roll, roll, roll. Voila! Here you go. So now you have your piece of paper. Yours will not have these little stitches on it. So also one key. Everybody's machine is going to be slightly different. So when I run this through, I take it out and I flip it over and I look to see if I can still see the score lines. See the very faint little score lines? If you don't see the score lines, then sometimes I will just add I just used a piece of the copy paper and folded it in half to make it really thin. Here it is, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, just as shim. You don't want to go too thick too fast. So I literally, this is thin paper, I just folded it in half, and I put it between my pieces and I rolled that through just to give it a little bit of layer. Then I looked at the back, see if I could see the score lines. If not, you can take that out and use something a little thicker, like a piece of cardstock. Again, everybody's plates are different, everybody's machine is different. You just don't want to go too thick right away because you don't want the score lines to actually cut through the paper. So play with it until you know your machine really well as far as what extra weight you need to go through to cut yours perfectly. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this with you guys. I wrote on here MM for mountain, mountain. The V is for valley, and then mountain. It's actually written on here too. Mountain, mountain, valley, mountain. So I'm going to start to score. I'm going to start to fold, but I'm not going to squish it down all the way yet. I do not want there to be a score line here. So I'm going to put my fingers back here and I'm going to pinch and just get that started. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to just take my nail and push. So I want a valley here. And then here's the mountain. You do not want it to go all the way across. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pinch that. Once you have it started, then you can go back up to the top, squeeze a little bit more, squeeze a little bit more. This is when I then kind of lay it down on my table and kind of push it flat. Then you can take a bone folder and give it a really nice crease. If you try and do it all at once, you're going to get those score lines in areas you don't want them. Even make sure that those are down. And then I would stand it up and make sure it's standing up good. If it's wanting to fall out a little bit, your paper might be a little thin, or it's maybe not like scored, like fold it down a little bit more, burnish it down a little bit more. All those pieces. Okay, so there you go. Now let's make our first card. Okay, I cut just some plain cardstock, and I did cut a piece of watercolor paper, and I thought we could play with both. This is what I did for my first one, and I just used the plain paper. So again, I thought we would try both and see what you like better. All right, and I'm just going to use brushes today.
I'm gonna hold that up to the camera a little bit.
That's what we're doing. Okay, and I have a little squirt bottle of water here near me. So I'm just going to kind of do these at the same time. This first piece that we're putting on is the flower piece. So I already die cut that. And any detailed dies, I do like to use like a precision plate or just run it through a couple times to make sure it's cutting. Don't take it out until you see that it goes all the way through. But that's the flower that we're going to be putting on here. So since this has got like the inside, I want that to be a little more yellow, a little bit red, and then purple around the outside. So I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow, blend it out just a little bit. Let's do this at the same time. Just see how different they look. It's a little softer here on the watercolor paper. Okay. Now let's go for our red. Let's spin this around a little bit. Okay. It's definitely a little smoother on the watercolor paper. And I'm not worried too much about where the flower is going to be, really. And then our purple. I'm just going to, and then this one, all the way around the outside. If you want, you could do just a really big piece of paper and just start throwing color on it and then play with it and then cut it out afterwards, but I kind of wanted to do it this way. Then I may take a little bit of extra. My purples, I'm able to get it a little bit darker on the regular white paper. Okay. This is the original, this is the watercolor paper. All right, now what we're going to do, get a paper towel handy. And I'm going to take the water spritzer and I'm going to kind of hold it back a little bit and let it just squirt it, but let it just drip on there just a little bit. I'm kind of squirting over it so some of the drops land on it. And then I'm going to lay this down and pick up some of that color. Ooh, that really, you could see the difference on the watercolor. Those little speckles show up a lot more than on the plain paper. And there's some droplets here. If you want a little bit more texture, you can go in and add a little bit more to it. Maybe we sprinkle a little bit more on this one. Okay, I kind of like the watercolor paper. It's a little bit more dramatic. This is my first one. Again, that was just on the plain paper, but that's kind of cool. I think I like this one. Done with that. Okay, now, so we have this one. I already cut a pink piece, so folded that up. That set of dies comes with all the pieces to cut the sideways ones. It even has, let me show you, it even has this little square. So if you wanted to, you don't have to put one in this little spot because when this is folded up, it doesn't show that much, but that's what that little square on here is for. All right, so I went ahead and attached that already. And then we're gonna put this right in the middle, and there we go. All right, then we have our little flower that we already cut, and I used the scrapbook adhesives thin strips, little foam strips there. It's kind of nice because they fit really well with this little die. You know, a lot of times I just take my big wheel of foam tape and cut it, but this is kind of handy for something like this. All right, and we will probably have those on our website. I'm just not sure if it's there today. I'm just going to center this right on here. So with this combination, I'm just using, so this set has the outside, the inside, and then those little pieces. So I didn't use all 3 layers. Again, this one has the outside and then the square stitched one without the flower. So I'm just using the outside and that. And then this one, doesn't show you, this also has a little pennant. So I went ahead and stamped the happy birthday on here, which is this simple little happy birthday from this set. And it fits perfectly.
What set is that?
This is our newest one. It's called Beautiful Inside. And I'm just going to lay this flat. And I'm just going to center it One here, I'm eyeballing it. Then the other die that's on here is this little heart. So I took some of my paper that I had that matched this. So it has the little texture on it. And put some foam tape on the back. And I'm going to just drop it on the front. There you go. Simple little card. I mean, so fast, but it's unique. It has that different fun look to it. So let's do another one. This time we're doing, this time I cut it out of white. And I cut a piece of paper, a rectangle piece that's 3 1/8 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Because what we're going to do is we're going to slide this through and we're going to attach it to those side panels. So then it has this whole different look because you can see through and see the flowers all the way through it. As opposed to this where it's kind of more that open look. So when you lay this down, it slides through so you can figure out where you're going to position it. And you can do it a couple different ways. I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on here. Not all the way to the edge.
Careful not to drag it through, huh?
I know, you could do it a couple different ways. You could use just regular adhesive instead of the glue. And there you go. All right. Now over here, okay. So it just slides through. I love that look. All right, then this also comes with a skinny piece, a skinny die right here. 2 layers actually, so you could do 2 layers. I went in ahead and I wanted this piece to be the full, kind of the full length, just a hair of white all the way around it. So it's about 1 inch by 5 1/4. I mean 5 1/2. And then I'm going to attach this. I stamped this with your. Then it has beautiful inside and out. So I just stamped those and then I stamped the word beautiful and used the little die that comes with it. And on this piece, because I wanted it to be a little bit chunkier, I cut an extra piece of white and I layered it with that so that this piece is a little bit thicker. So I think this piece can be flat. Whoops, almost went upside down. All of this paper is from that same paper line. Okay. Then I could use foam tape, but since I made this a little bit chunkier, I don't really need to pop it up. All right, okay. Cut this out of our yellow. I stamped 2 of the flowers, or the flower in this fun little piece here. Stamped and colored those, put a little purple in there. So this is just gonna center right there. I do like this side of the paper too, but I think it needed something not quite as busy. There we go. All right, and for this one, this is the other die. So this nice little leafy piece. And I just kind of did the, light green and dark green, because I kind of wanted this to be more of a background. And I went ahead and popped this up. This set I think will be perfect for spring cards and Mother's Day. And move that over a little bit. Okay, just gonna center that I like that extra dimension. These, you could double layer these if you want to. I don't know if I cut an extra piece out, probably not. I went ahead and cut an extra white. So let's go ahead and layer this one up. I really like this look when it's just a little bit thicker. So by holding it in my hand like that, I can drop that in and just move it around, wiggle it around until it's lined up perfectly. That gives you that extra piece. And you could do this 3 or 4 times if you really want it chunky. No, not offhand, so I'm not going to worry about that one. All right, let's put that up here. And then this we'll put in that corner. Could pop it, but I don't think it needs it. So it really highlights that leafy background, but has those extra little flower pieces to highlight the paper and stuff. So I really like that, how that turned out. Now, just because I did these on this horizontal center step card, it doesn't mean that's the only place you need to do that, or that you could use that. So on a regular card, here I did a background of the paper and just put a nice matte, black mat behind it. And for this one, I'm using this flower from the set and the little happy birthday. And these pieces I double matted. And I went ahead and popped up this purple. I love this texture, the words in here. So I'm going to pop this up. So you don't have to use all of the layers all of the time. Gives you a lot of more flexibility. I like how that's matted. And then let's go ahead and attach this. And I like to go slightly above center. Still shows off a lot of the flowers. And I don't need to pop this with foam tape since I double layered that piece. And I'm going to, I left a little spot here because I popped this up and I want that to sit behind the birthday. So that's going to go there. And then that's going to fit right over that. Simple little birthday card, but having those little layers I think really adds to it. And that easily could have been put on this card and this card. So that gives you some ideas on what you can do with that, with all of our new products. So,
Center step.
yes, so we got the horizontal center step. Well, here's the finished. Here's our horizontal center step, and then nature layered dies. Here is another card. We're actually going to be in our Stamp of the Month Club. We have a workshop at the end of the month, and we're going to be making this card. So that is using the new beautiful inside stamp set. All right, you guys have a great week, and I dare you to be artsy. Bye.